In the unfortunate event of some type of natural disaster or other social unrest that closes roadways and prevents you from driving home, you may need what some people call a get home bag. My get home bag is ultra light. In fact, it's so light that I can do pull-ups, push-ups with it, I can run and jump, and it doesn't hamper my ability to move at all. In the event of a natural disaster, you may find yourself having to store, collect, and purify water, travel long distances in unfamiliar terrain, and you may even be faced with hostile threats along the way. My pack has everything you need.
My name is Andrew. I am a rancher, a marksman, an outdoorsman, and a bladesmith. I've spent most of my life seeking adventure in one way or another, or in one place or another, and I would like to share all of that with you.
What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over my get home bag. So, if you're unfamiliar with the concept, the get home bag is typically used in the case of a natural disaster like an earthquake or hurricane, or maybe something like societal breakdown, riots or something like that that have closed down the streets, or just any other kind of event where you're unable to drive home, but you do need some supplies in order to make your journey. So a lot of people, especially in the state that I live in, have to commute at least 30 miles a day. So you could be looking at least a one-day trek home. And my bag is designed for a 2-day trek. So you may have seen this bag before. This is the VertX Ready Pack 2.0. It's a pretty hardy pack, and it sort of goes in line with the gray man philosophy that I like, in that it looks like a normal pack, but it's actually heavy canvas with high quality zippers, and there's even some MOLLE webbing to it, and along with a rapid deploy tab for you to keep a firearm in should you decide to do that. Or if you want, you can actually attach a piece of body armor in here and make this a ballistic proof backpack as well. So in the unfortunate event that we reach some type of societal collapse, I actually live in more of a deserty type area where it's actually pretty hot all the time. So my kit predominantly plays on water. Water filtration and storage. So right in the top of my bag here, I'm actually going to have a Nalgene bottle, and this is going to be a empty plastic bottle, but it has my water filtration kit in there. So once you get inside the kit, you're going to have a mini Sawyer water filter. This pretty much filters out all of your bacteria, protozoa. It does not filter out viruses though. So on top of that, I have iodine tablets as well. So that's my water filtration kit, but because I do live in a deserty climate, I like to start off the bat in my cooking kit. I use this as water storage, so that's 32 ounces of water that I can start with immediately, and this is a single wall metal water bottle. So I can actually boil water in this, or I could cook in it if I actually wanted to. It comes with a little cup as well, and you can see that I cook in this on a regular basis. Also inside my pack here, I have another form of water storage. It's not that big, but 64 ounce Camelback system here. So I usually start with that empty because the presumption is that I have 32 ounces of water to start. So all I really have to worry about is finding some water at this point. And for the most part, you're gonna have time to grab at least a gallon of water in the case something goes really wrong. And that's when I would go and fill up my empty water bottle here and my Camelback system as well. So the next thing you're going to see in the pouch along with my water is a clothing kit. And while this is a summer bag and this is an ultralight bag, I always like to bring at least a little bit of something for rain. So I do keep a simple rain jacket. And this is just a pullover, so I don't have to worry about zippers breaking or anything like that. I have a breathable like fitness t-shirt. For sun protection, I have a breathable long sleeve shirt, and this is actually part wool, so in the case that for some reason, in the case of freak weather, I could use this to stay warm as a base layer. This is a neck gaiter, also for sun protection or dust protection. It won't do much for any kind of chemical, biological protection, anything like that. Good pair of wool socks and an extra pair of underwear. I think a lot of people sort of skip this part, and I think I've learned that one of the most important things for me is to have an extra pair of socks and underwear with me all the time. And even in the case of a like end of the world scenario, it's something that you're definitely gonna want, but I use an extra pair of socks or underwear all the time. You know, I might go swimming or might have an accident, or might just step in some kind of puddle, need a new pair of socks. So love to have those with me all the time. Also, the t-shirt tends to be a little bit useful. I'll use that on the rare occasion as well. As I put this away, you might notice that this is actually in a dry bag. So I keep a lot of my kits in dry bags, and this is partially because of the compression factor, so you can get them to fit into your bag a little bit easier. But also in the case that it does rain or something like that, your pair of socks and underwear are not gonna get wet. Also, some of my other kits, I wouldn't necessarily want them to get wet, like my fire kit, which is coming up next, is in a dry bag. So that is right here. My fire kit is pretty straightforward, but I'll go ahead and pull it out for you. You'll notice that I have this in a large dry bag. So this fire kit is designed with a little bit of tinder to start, and these are just like little bits of cotton, and you can sort of fluff them up, expand them out, and start a fire with them. But in the case that I do find myself spending more time away from home than I really intend to, I can always make or find more tinder, and I can stuff that in this dry bag and keep it safe for fires in the future. So also in here is a little waterproof match kit and the Zippo stormproof match kit. So this has stormproof matches in it with a little striker on the bottom, but these matches will light in wind, in rain, and they won't go out. Never had to use them, but they're cool to have, and it's a good alternative to starting fires. Something that everybody should have in their kit, Bic lighter, and you should make sure it works before you put it in your kit, and that is how you will probably start most of your fires. But it is good to have, like I said, redundancies. So I also have a magnesium bar with a little ferrocenium rod on the top. So I have 4 methods to start fire. Last but not least, in this bag, in that pouch, is a emergency bivvy. So this is the SOL escape light. So it's pretty reusable bivvy sack, and this is sort of like a glorified emergency blanket in the fact that it radiates your heat back towards you. But bivvy sacks can be a little bit more reusable, and you can use these as something to sleep on in the case that it's warm. Also, in the case of trying to prevent shock due to an injury or something like that, it can be used as an emergency blanket. You can use this as a rain cover, but I really just keep it as an emergency, keep warm sleeping bag, as it were. And I have actually had to use this once before, and it works really well, all the way down to, it was about 10 degrees, and I was nice and toasty warm. The danger of a lot of bivvy sacks is that they don't sweat. So what happens is your moisture will sort of gather up in the bag, and you may be warm, but you're gonna be wet. And if it's cold and you're wet, when you wake up, you're gonna go out into the environment and you're gonna end up being cold. You may end up sick, you could die. The SOL brand here breathes really, really well. So you don't end up with as much moisture, though you do end up with some. And that's why this is my personal choice as opposed to others. So on the front of that pouch, there's actually a few little slots here, and I like to keep my flashlight in there. This flashlight is designed with a button on the back as well as a little clip on it, so this can fit on a hat and can be used sort of like a headlamp. Also, in the pouch below it, I keep just a little pocket knife right here. Pocket knife has a bottle opener on it, which is cool, but it's just nice to have a backup pocket knife in the case that I were to lose the pocket knife that I have, which does seem unlikely, but I do always carry one and enjoy having a backup as well. Right below that is a zippered pouch, and in there I keep a notebook, and I keep a few maps. Usually like to keep one for the most common city that I find myself in, that's Los Angeles. I don't actually go into Los Angeles much, but I would most likely be in Los Angeles if I were to go away from my hometown. And a California state map as well, just so I sort of know where I am, and if everything goes down on the wrong day and I'm in some place that I was visiting that I'm not familiar with, I have at least something to get me home. So that's all for the back pouch, but in the middle pouch, I keep my med kit, and this is a slimmed down version of my boo-boo kit, which you can see up here. Basically, this is the same exact med kit, but it doesn't have my tourniquet, and it does not have my Israeli bandage, but it has pretty much everything else. Also right there is gonna be my Leatherman. It's pretty common for me to carry a toolkit, which I didn't include in this particular loadout, but one tool that I always end up using is a Leatherman. And I mean, end of the world, think of it like this: you could need to cut through fences, so Leatherman has a little pair of wire cutters on it. You could have to repair something, open something, utilize some kind of object in the environment. Good to have a multi-tool with you. Also, it happens to have an extra knife, which is great in case I lose one of my many knives. Also in this pouch is apparently a bottle cap. Must have taken this somewhere. I have a emergency food ration. So this is 2,400 calories, and that is technically a single day's allowance plus, but in a pinch, you can definitely handle 1,200 calories for 2 days. And the calorie ration, they're all individually wrapped, so I'm not gonna make a mess in my bag. That, and I can break these out, snack on them here and there, boost my morale, and keep my energy levels up. Also, this particular ration does not need to be cooked, so I don't need to concern myself with making fire. Though I have the ability to do that, I don't need to worry about it, and I can still feed myself without having to rely on fire for anything other than maybe boiling water if I have to do that. So to the front pouch here. In the front pouch, I have a few electronics. So biggest thing that I think I'll show you guys is my power bank. So it's important to have something like that in case that you need to charge your phone. Maybe you can try to contact somebody. And I have all the necessary cables to charge my phone, maybe somebody else's phone, and then something to charge my flashlight, as well as charge the power bank should I have to do that. But that power bank is actually a particularly large one and should make it through about 5 charges on a cell phone, and that should be sufficient to help me and other people should I come across somebody that I need to barter power with for something else, maybe transportation, food, water if I can't really find any. So that's a good little barter system right there. Also, I have my hygiene kit, which I keep in this cool mushroom bag that I love. And inside here I have a toothbrush and toothpaste. I have a toilet paper roll, butt wipes, just a little bit of Castile soap. Because it's summer, I'm keeping some sunscreen with me right now. And I have Carmex for my lips. So you may have noticed on the front of my pack that I have a knife. I actually made this knife myself out of high carbon steel, which means that it holds an edge incredibly well. And I put it on a handle of G10, which does not get slippery even when wet or bloody. So this is a really good self-defense knife, and it is really strong, nice and thick, nice and sharp. So I actually did a video on that, which I'll have appear for you guys right there, and that'll tell you all about it. Well, there it is, guys. That is my ultralight get home bag. It weighs in at a whopping 11 pounds right now, but it could increase by 4 to 5 more pounds with the addition of water, which I don't have filled up right now. If you do have any questions about this, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And if you have any comments about this, go ahead and keep them to yourself. Hey, thanks.